It's the Two Gems Podcast.
Well, we can talk about the holidays.
Hey,
We're
back.
To be honest, I think Matt's a little intimidated of me right now with my outfit.
Slightly. Who are you?
I'm channeling my inner dominatrix. I actually bought this in Toronto. And it's funny because as I was buying it, I'm like, who am I? I don't know about you, but when I travel places, sometimes I just am like a completely different version of myself. Does that ever happen to you when you travel?
Maybe.
I do impulsive things that don't make sense. Like, for example, me buying this. Do you think I'd go to the Halifax shopping center and be like, this feels right? But I was in Toronto and I'm like, I'm doing it.
Where would you wear that to?
Well, this is the thing.
What is it?
Nowhere. So I'm wearing it right here. It's actually a bodysuit. So hopefully I don't have to pee.
And you've got your Stanley, I see.
Yeah, we'll take up the whole screen.
Yeah, Sheridan's rocket launcher, her Stanley, loves it.
Listen, it's funny because there's certain things on Instagram that content creators just gravitate towards, and many of them can be really obnoxious. I'm trying to think of a couple, but you'll see like repetitive and repetition and people posting the same thing over and over again, and it's very annoying. But the Stanley, I'm telling you, I said it in my Instagram stories, like I blacked out when I purchased it because it was at like 1 a.m. And I almost feel like when you shop at night, it doesn't count.
When are you going to tell when you bought 2 of them?
Oh,
you going to reveal that soon? Or what?
Yeah, I told Matt, I was like, oops, I bought 2 by accident, but obviously it wasn't an accident because I have different colors.
It's a funny thing. It's these Stanley things are a funny thing because, yeah, it's just a mug, but it's the idea of like this shit that just like catches fire on the internet. Everyone's got these friggin' Stanleys now.
And I guess like it might be kind of nice to maybe feel like you're a part of something in like a weird way. Like you have one and everyone has, I don't know, is like that could also be the complete opposite. And it's like, if you don't have it, you know what I mean? But it's like, you don't need to have one, but maybe people that do have one, they're like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. We have one together.
Yeah, you're like a part of this elite Stanley group. It's a real thing though. Herd mentality is a real thing.
Yes.
Like I'll jump into it for 1 second, but when I was down in New York over the Christmas break, Antoine and I were walking through somewhere in Manhattan. Somewhere. It was kind of like in the middle of Manhattan, and we were looking for a place to eat, and we were just kind of stumbling along. We really wanted to get pizza, and we're just stumbling along, and there's this pizza spot. No. So we come around this corner, and I'm talking like it's in the middle of nowhere. Like it's not like it's anything special.
Okay.
And we come around this corner, and there's like there must be close to 100 people lined up outside this restaurant. Mm-hmm. And I'm walking up to it, and I'm like, man, what are we about to see here? Like, what restaurant is this? And we come up along the side of this place, and it's this little pizza joint, and it's not wood oven pizzas. It's nothing fancy. It's literally just like a green script font on an old ass sign that said like Joe's Pizza New York or something like that. And everybody lined up there you could tell they were like, they have Stanleys at home, like that. Those kind of people, like they're all sitting there going into this greasy ass, dirty ass pizza joint, and they're all like in their like brown trench coats and their blonde hair pinned back and everything, and like going into this pizza spot. And I looked at Antoine and said that very thing. I was like, herd mentality is such a strange thing.
And did a little part of you want to go in it too, just by seeing
for
everyone
sure. I'm
else
just
on?
like,
yeah.
Well, one half of me was like, these guys are clowns for waiting in this lineup in the cold out here to go into a pizza spot, and then the other half of me was like,
but I kind of want to do it.
Yeah, though? Like what is
I'm
this?
a clown. No.
Oh, it was one of those spots that when you walk through, you know those old restaurants that have all the photos of who's been there. It's like Elvis eating a slice and shit. Like it was one of those spots. Like you could see that it's like everyone goes there, but it was just the fact that it looked like a million other pizza joints that I've seen in my life. Yep. But something about that one brought the crowd, and I highly doubt it's the pizza.
Well, you never know.
How good could a slice of pizza get?
The Stanley's actually incredible. Now, mind you, I do know that there's other like dupes that they say, I think on Amazon, that are cheaper and whatnot. So maybe it's just that the brand and people want to have it. I don't know. But I actually genuinely love this cup. Have I not been carrying it everywhere?
Yeah, you've been
drinking water?
Yes.
Like I'm actually using it.
No, but like what is it though?
I don't know. But
what is it about that cup?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You said it feels nice and like
feels nice. The straw is great. Well, the best part is that it fits into the cup holder in the van. And I know Yetis fit in, all my Yeti listeners, and they also fit in the van, but it's not the same. Like it's harder to take it in and out, whereas the Stanley, because of the way it's built, it like slips in and slips out no problem.
Okay. Am I crazy?
Yeah.
Or is it the greatest straw ever?
It's a great straw.
What is with the straw?
I don't know.
Like when you suck it, there's like
Keep
something,
doing that motion, huh?
There's like something about it.
Let me do
No, it's weird. Let me see it.
Yeah, Stanley, can you sponsor us for this podcast, please?
What is with the straw in this thing?
I don't give it
like
back.
when I suck it.
Stop stealing it. Matt takes it all the time too. Like he pretends he doesn't like it, and I always catch him drinking.
I'm a
from it.
Yeti guy, and I always will be. I'm not converting to Stanley.
So how are you doing, Matt?
Well, I mean, you can tell by your outfit right now. We had sex twice yesterday.
I didn't even associate that. My
Sharon has intercourse twice a day and then comes in a black leather suit. You look like you're ready to have a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Okay, does it not look good? I feel like it looks good. Okay, whatever. I
can barely look at you. You look super hot for sure.
Yeah, so
it's just such a funny thing for you.
well, maybe I'm gonna change in 2023. Who knows?
Yeah, you look like you belong outside that pizza joint in New York. I'll tell you that much.
Exactly.
But yeah, life's good right now.
Good.
We're coming off the Christmas break, and our show took a mild hiatus. Sorry to all the listeners. We've been slacking. Got busy with everything. Just the Christmas rush just crushed us, and like,
Yeah.
you know, it was hard to stay on top of like the recording and the editing and everything. And then you and I just kind of looked at each other and we're like, look, let's just not add another thing to our plate over the holidays. Let's just take a hiatus here for a couple months. Regroup in the new year.
On top of that, the kids were home, so it's very difficult to record when the chaos is outside. It would actually be impossible. Theo would be running in within like probably a minute and a half.
Yeah, be impossible.
Maximum. Yeah, he'd be in here. Kaia did mention, and I really want to do this, that her and I are going to sit down and chat for like at least 20 minutes. And I know you were kind of thinking, well, I don't know, because it should be all of us. But I'm thinking,
no, you go ahead.
I would love to sit down and have a chat. And she has so many interesting things to say.
Oh yeah.
And I think it'd be really cool to just hear from Kaia Bear.
Kaia is a very interesting person. She has a lot of tricks up her sleeve.
You think?
So Kaia?
Yeah.
Oh my God. The girl, like, you know, as a parent, you just kind of go through the motions.
Yeah.
And I know you know what I mean, even without describing what I'm talking about. You know what I mean. You're just kind of in this vortex, just trying to survive every day and just get through it. And like, but every now and then you kind of stop and you like really hang out with one of your kids and like start talking to them and ask them things that aren't a part of the like daily template. It's like, and anytime that happens with Kai, I'm like, she's a cool girl.
Oh yeah, she's so cool.
Like the other day, I'm going to be Kaia, okay?
Okay.
And you're me.
Okay.
And we're driving in the van. And Kaia's...
Hey, I'm Matt.
No, I'm awesome.
Yeah.
And Kaia's behind me in the van, and out of nowhere, like we're just chit-chatting about shit, just life, whatever, I don't even know. And Kaia looks at me for like she's looking at me in the mirror in the van. She goes, "Dad, say milk 10 times."
Milk, 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 milk.
What do cows drink?
Yeah, and you said milk.
She got me. And then she's in the back laughing, and she's like, "Gotcha."
She said that to me in the kitchen, but I knew the answer wasn't milk, but I wanted to hype her up. And she's like, "Huh, Daddy did it too." But she actually got you for real?
Well, yeah, because I was so focused on saying milk properly. I thought it was a tongue twister, but then I got through it okay. I was like, milk, 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 milk. And then she quickly goes, what do cows drink? I'm like, milk. And then she's like, gotcha. And I'm like, oh my God. But I was driving too, so that's got to be why. I was preoccupied.
Definitely.
But it's just an example of how she has these little like jokes and things. Like she has a whole Rolodex of jokes. You can ask Kaia to just keep telling jokes, and she has them.
So she'll bring some onto the podcast.
Yeah, she's going to come in with the heat.
But speaking of spending time with your children one-on-one, well...
Yada, yada. Here we go.
No, not yada, yada.
Hey, so this whole thing.
Parenting stuff is important to talk about.
I know.
And in fact, when I ask the listeners what they like to hear, almost always it's about our kids and parenting and our parenting style. Nice face. Otherwise, it's about our relationship and things like that. But a lot of it is about kids and how do you handle this and that. And we obviously don't have the answers here. we're learning every day too. But I did notice, and I kind of had like an aha moment over the holidays when I recognized that when all of us are together and we are a family of 5, that is absolute chaos more often than not. However,
It's weird.
when we disperse and divide and conquer, it's generally pretty smooth sailing. And how important it is to take that time, if you can, and if you have the opportunity to do it with your children one-on-one. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. It could be anything really. But for them to feel like they're not in competition with their siblings and in fact just spending time with their mom or their dad and getting that undivided attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like, for example, when you did that with Theo the other day and you guys went and picked up skates or whatever you did, and he was having a bit of a hard time in the van. I could see that it was like one of those days that wasn't going to go well. And then when you guys left and you went off together, you had a great night.
Yeah.
Right. And
No, I don't disagree with you. And for anyone that said, like, if this sounds scripted to anyone, Sharon and I have talked about this in great length, and we're like, we should bring it up on the show. But there's this weird thing where families are together that there's all this like shit in the air, and I don't understand it. But everyone feels that way. What is it?
I don't know. And I also think too, when you are, if you are like married or with your partner and you split off and you're a single parent for a little bit, that I think that the kids usually thrive in that environment too. Like when you went to New York, it was great. When I went to Toronto, wasn't it lovely from what I remember?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard keeping the house clean, but I mean, as far as like the kids, they don't fight like they do when you're home.
Right.
But they also, there's this weird thing too where it's like the roles that mom and dads play in a house is very different too.
Yeah.
So like the kids know to not even ask me for shit because I'm just, go get yourself. Where I think you kind of wait on them hand and foot a little bit. And so they come to you and they're all whiny and they're like, I want a tray and I want my apples peeled. It's like, when you're not here, I'm not peeling the apples. I'll cut them into slices, eat the skin, and they will.
Side note though, do you know what you do? You take a goddamn Honeycrisp apple that's like $3 nowadays. You use the stupid apple slicer and nobody eats it. The amount of apple that I throw out because you didn't do the core properly and there's like some pieces, they won't touch it. I'm serious.
When you went up to Kaia's room this morning, was there apple on the tray?
You peeled it.
Was there apple on the tray?
You peeled it.
Okay.
You peeled the skin. You did it the right way. But if you take an apple and go like that, I mark my words, nobody's eating it.
When you're home.
In general.
No.
Oh, okay.
If you're not,
Because they're starving. They're like, please just cut me an apple.
that's just it though.
Well,
You know, life's not some big fairy tale. It's like you can eat the skin on your damn apple. I don't know. If you
Yeah,
don't
but-
want the skin on it, cut it off yourself.
sure. We've said, well, they're kids, Matt. You and I have had this conversation. And
Kai's
I've
basically
said
an
to you,
adult.
no, but I've said to you many a times, like, you need to give credit where credit is due with our children. Like, you know, Kaia woke up today. She made her bed. She actually did a great job, almost as good as I would do. And like, that's great. She comes home. She puts her shoes away. She, you know, puts her backpack away. She does things. She just doesn't go above and beyond. And I feel like you're always giving our kids a hard time. Like, you should be outside cutting wood or whatever. And it's like, can't you just like let them be kids? And
Yeah. Oh yeah, like I don't let them be kids.
No. I'm just
Come
saying.
on.
That's not.
Trust me, I let these kids be kids. I'm a big kid.
No, I know.
No, I think for me at some point, and I don't know at what point it happens in life, but at some point there has to be a point in time where they need to start earning their own to some capacity. Like if you want Robux for Roblox, you can put the dishes in the dishwasher for a week and we'll get you a $15 gift card or something like that. Like that's how it was when we were kids.
What age do you actually remember that being a thing for you?
Oh my God. Well, like, do you think Kaia can load a dishwasher?
If you taught her, for sure, yeah.
Taught her?
I think. Well, if you told her how to load it properly.
Sure, and she's a genius. She can figure out how to put dishes in a dishwasher. You know what I mean, though? Like, at some point, our children need to get to a place where they understand that, like, iPads don't just, like, rain from the sky, and every time you walk in Walmart when we're going in to get, like, stuff to make a salad or something, you don't get to run down and get a Power Ranger at the same time. Like, at some point, they need to understand that this shit, you trade your time for money in this world, and, like, That's what it is. Like, I think I turned out to be pretty awesome. And I remember being a kid and, like, when I needed new goalie pads for hockey, I went and picked blueberries all summer to save up money to buy new goalie pads. If you want the nice Felix Potvin goalie pads, save up your own money and get them.
On the flip side, do you think that I turned out all right? Matt, no, but seriously.
No, but your concept of money is absolutely nothing.
Well, that's just me personally, though.
Yeah.
I've never cared about money.
Okay.
That's a me thing. You can look at my brother. We were just talking the other day, and he was saying the exact same thing as you about how when Sonny and him are going to the stores now, he just explained to him, he's like, I don't believe that Sonny should just get whatever he wants. We were born in the same household. We were raised in the same household. I just have never cared or whatever, grasped the concept of finances. But that's just a me thing. And all I'm saying is, like, you always say, why are you shaking your head?
Because I think it trickles down from the top. Like, I think parents that make their kids earn their own, those kids grow up as hustlers and they understand that they don't, like, to get shit in this world, you got to grind.
I work hard.
It's very different.
How? See, guys, this is our parenting style coming out. What do you mean it's very different?
It's completely different because I take the role in this household of making sure that when you are finished working in life, that we are financially stable and that our kids are going to be okay. You've never even thought about that one time in your life.
Well, I also
So if you remove me from this equation, you're going to be fucked.
Yeah, but you're not, I would figure it out. We have designated roles. I do all the motherly things that you don't do.
Yeah.
And you take care of all those things. And we have, if anybody, because people are always asking us about our finances, I will get paid for a job and I just send it to you. And I mean, we share.
You say people are asking about our
Yes,
finances.
I guess people are just curious. Just people when they write questions like, "Do you guys have separate finances?" Because
Let's talk about that after.
Okay, well, we could trickle it into that right now, but we share our visas, our debits. Like, I really don't have anything allocated in my debit card. I just have it to have it, and then I have a credit card that I don't even own the card because I'm not exactly. What's the word I'm looking for? Responsible with it. And I've learned that. So I don't have the credit card anymore. But every time I get paid, I send you the money and you deal with that.
Yeah.
Do I think that if you and I were no longer together that I couldn't understand finances? No. I've just never needed to.
That's not what this debate is right now.
30 seconds ago, you just said you'd be fucked. And I'm saying incorrect.
At this current juncture, if I just disappeared, you that's not even the point that I'm trying to make.
Oh, yeah, because you realize you're wrong.
Sure. Do I think that you'd be okay? Yes, you'd be okay. You'd be just fine with your Stanley over there. You could sell your Stanleys and
it's
get
not
a
about making money, but I'd be able to figure out. I'd be able to figure it out.
Of course you would. The point that I'm trying to make is that as parents,
yes,
you need to teach your kids how to work. That's the way it is. Because they don't do that at school. They go to school and they move numbers around and color.
Very important.
Yes, but at some point they need to understand that cash is a transaction that takes place when you give someone your time.
Well, I got my first job when I was 14 years old. That seems appropriate to me. I started working at a restaurant. I saved up some money and I was able to buy my own cell phone and the cool covers and the ringtones. Remember back in the day when you had to buy ringtones and jewels and stuff?
Oh yeah, it's T-Pain, baby.
Yeah, and
I got rich off him.
And
3 million off a ringtone. I wonder if I can auto-tune that in post.
That seems appropriate to me. You go to school to learn. You're a kid. Be a kid.
No.
Listen, I can agree that your children, and honestly, Matt, our kids are understanding life. Why are you looking at me like that?
Understanding of what?
Every day our kids talk to me about homelessness, about people, about money.
Yeah.
They're grasping the concept of what is, and that there are some people that are not as privileged as we are. Kaia says every night how lucky she is.
We're doing a fantastic job with that. Yes, we are.
And that's important.
I talk about it to them all the time.
Theo just told me last night, he said when he gets older, he's going to work as hard as he can, get 100 jobs, make $100, and go give it to somebody on the street. That's what he said to me last night.
Yeah.
They are understanding. It's just the actual cash money they don't have a concept of. And also, let's not necessarily just blame me for this. We'll also...
No, I'm blaming myself too,
but we can also say that back in the day, there was actual cash, right? You would get money, and you would put it in your piggy bank and you do things like this. You would see your parents writing checks. You would see them handing out cash. Now it's on the damn phone. Apple Pay, Amazon, click, click, click. Like they don't see money. When do you see money?
Yeah, no, it's hard to grasp.
I don't even have cash ever in my wallet. So how are they supposed to grasp something so well if they don't even freaking have their eyes on it? I don't know.
This is the question that I'm putting out there right now because I truly don't know the answer. I just know that when I was a kid, I had an allowance. I remember everything from cleaning all the dead sticks in the forest. I took the garbage out. I took the recycling out. I put the dishes in the dishwasher. I remember one time I shingled the house. I scraped paint on the house. I was just like tasked with doing things, bringing the firewood into the basement, stacking the firewood. Like I did things, and that's how I got money. And then I think it translated into me being an incredible employee to every person that I've ever worked with. Even when I worked at McDonald's, my first job, like I think I was the best employee they ever had. Man, I dogged it in that kitchen, like because I understood that you had to do a job and do it right. And I think at some point we're going to have to take our kids and be like, Theodore, you're not getting that thing off Amazon until you put the dishes in the dishwasher for a week. You know, and if he forgets a day, you know, teach him and stuff. But at some point you got to do it.
I guess I'm just wondering.
What are we talking about?
Well, there's nothing wrong with talking about
I'm just trying to remember how this happened. What were we doing?
I don't know.
Anyway, all I'm saying is at some point we're going to have to.
Well, okay, let's get off of the children topic and the finances. And I know Matt says nobody ever writes in the comments, but people do send us a lot of direct messages. So if this is something you're interested in chatting about, message us. But on going with that, partners and sharing money and all that, I actually always find it quite interesting when people say, do you guys split finances or how does that work? Because we've kind of just always, from what I remember, shared our finances.
Yeah.
I believe. And I do know that there's other people, even people that I'm very good friends with, that don't at all. They have their own separate bank accounts. They each split, like somebody will do the mortgage, someone will do the groceries. Like, and in fact, that's weird to me. That's how my parents did it forever.
Isn't that weird?
Well, for us, because we're like, well, what? We've never done that.
Is it like a symptom of not being fully committed to your partner?
I don't think so. I mean,
it's weird.
But maybe
so I make more money than you, so I pay a couple bills, and it's like but I still have all this money left over. I'm going, no, you go down to Soft Mock and get your little. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think for some people, money is control for them, and it feels secure. So I think when they know what they have in their bank account and they're in charge of everything, that it's great. And for me, again, circling back on the fact that I've never really cared much for finances, like I just willy-nilly send everything over to you and I don't even look at it or care, makes it easy for us to have that dynamic. But perhaps there are some people that like really care to the pennies of what they're doing. You understand what I'm saying? So they want control of their finances.
But I would argue that I can get much more granular with the pennies in the house when I can see everything happening.
Well, that
if you were over there hiding your paycheck, it would be like, how much did you spend and what's going on? Like, where are we? Like, if I don't take this job on next week, like, are we good next month? You know what I mean? Like this way, we're like, here's how much money we have.
Oh my gosh,
family.
what if we lose power? Look at that out there.
Oh, it's crazy.
I agree with you in a sense. Again, I'm sure that everyone has their own situation, and if they trust their partner and they're not worried about it, great. But I think I would always wonder, like, what are you buying? What are you up to? On the flip side, I also don't have access to our accounts at all. So I never even see what's being bought. I know what I'm buying, but I would have no idea what you're doing. Like none, a.k.a. the side-by-side and the things that come out to fruition.
The only thing I ever buy is parts for four-wheelers and side-by-sides.
But even a couple times, like when you were going to get the windows tinted or whatever it was, and you didn't tell me about it, and then I caught you, and you're the worst liar in the world. And I'm like, what are you doing? And you're like, like, and...
Put 20% tin on, baby.
But it's interesting. It's interesting how you felt like you were caught red-handed, whereas there's some people that they don't even feel like they need to tell their partner that. They have complete division over their finances as long as as long as they are, what's the word I'm looking for? Not donating, but like providing whatever they need to provide.
I would never never want to keep our finances separate. I
Well,
think
what
that's
about when
insane.
you were with your exes? You were younger and you didn't have kids with one of them. Did
But
you
there
guys
wasn't
share?
even any money anyway.
Yeah,
We're
I
all,
suppose.
you know, I was,
Yeah, you were
you know,
trying
through
to.
my 20s, I was just, you know, I bought a house and stuff, but it was just like, I don't know, Nikki and I didn't have
Bleep.
a whole ton of extra money. And I mean, Christina and I back in the day, maybe we had I was making like $6.50 an hour back then.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? But like with you and I, it's like we're trying to build an empire together. We're making investments. We have business things that we're doing.
Yeah.
Like in an hour from now, we have our next big business plan that we're meeting about. Like it would be ridiculous to keep it all separate. Like for me, it makes much more sense. Like we're not going anywhere. Like we're together and we're always going to be together. And keep it all as one thing and know like where this ship is steering together. Hey.
What was that thing, speaking of being together forever, what was that thing that you just heard the other day? You were just telling me that if you really, really, really think about it or whatever.
Yeah, that was. So I was stumbling around on Instagram last night. I just saw this last night, and this girl put up an Instagram story, and it was like, without naming names, she's one of these people that's like a deep thinker, like she always is. She's always like deep thinking on shit.
She wrote this herself.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she and anyway, it was one of those It was just one story, and it had all these blocks on it with like microscopic text where she was like really thinking about life and everything. And what she posed this question to everyone that was following her, and basically it just said like really, really, honestly, truly think to yourself, the way that you treat your partner, do you do the best job that you can do? Like, would you want to be with the person? Like, would you want, you know what I'm trying, what the hell am I saying?
Spit it out properly.
Would you want to be on the receiving end of the treatment that you put out to your partner?
As in, would you want to be with yourself? Like,
that's a much easier way to say it.
If you think about it that way,
Yes.
like, would you be into yourself and be like, yes, I love my partner?
But like, as we're asking that question right now, would you want to be with yourself? That's a good way to put it. Like, really be honest with yourself, because it makes you think. I don't know if I've ever really thought about that. Like, if I was you, would I love me?
Yeah.
And then I sat there and I was like, you know, I'm pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. I was like, I think there's like, and I think I'm pretty awesome most of the time. Yeah. But then there's like some stuff about me that I'm like, fuck, I'm annoying sometimes.
And do you think these are things that you could change over time, or do you think you just are who you are?
No, I think the things that are annoying about me are just like just stupid little things I could easily change.
Can I have an example?
I think I'm just like super immature sometimes, and I think that it's almost by choice. It's almost like I wear it like a badge of honor. It's like I'm almost 40, but I'm still like mooning the kids from the top floor of the house, thinking it's funny, like out of the window. Like, and I'm like, is that the stupidest thing that's ever happened, or is it actually kind of like funny? I don't know, but like the mooning thing, that's not really one of the things I'm thinking of, but more like when I walk by and kind of like grab you, like maybe like aggressively inappropriate, and it's like, there's no way that was good for you at all, and like, why would I do that? It's just stupid.
Actually, before we get on to me and if I would love me, you just mentioning that, I follow this couple on Instagram. I can't remember their name right now. I think it's like Xander and something, and they've really blown up, and they basically talk all about sex. They have a sex book. I guess it could, maybe they're sex therapists, but anyway, she had this reel. In fact, I should almost try and find it now so I don't blow it, but she had this reel that basically talked about why you might not be getting to have sex with your partner, and what a I can't find it, and what a turn off would be. And that was a perfect example. She said a couple of things, but she said oftentimes, like, your partner might come up and grab you and like do it all at the wrong times when you're not interested, and in fact it's a big turn off. And it really is like it.
Oh yeah.
And to put it into perspective, like when you come up and you do whatever and you like stick your finger at my butt as a joke or whatever you're up to, I'm like, you get away. Or anyway, and then the other night, since now we do it all the time apparently.
Oh yeah. Sheridan comes out of the rabbit hole yesterday and thinks we're on fire.
No, but you know how I've mentioned so many times, like I'm going to do TMI here, but that I don't like having my boobs and nipples touched from breastfeeding and whatnot for so long. Well, when we were doing it the other night, I actually enjoyed it. And I think it's because I was in the mood. I was feeling good about you and I. And like, you know what I'm saying? Rather than if you just come over and like do something to annoy the shit out of me. And I actually remember thinking in the moment, oh, this is nice. And I was like, well, why is this nice?
I love how you're sitting there with your internal monologue.
I truly was thinking there with my internal monologue. And I'm like, why does this feel good? And I was like, oh, because we're doing foreplay, because he's turning me on, because I'm in the mood, because this and that, rather than you just coming over and, you know, grabbing my boobs.
I think another thing too, like I my entire life, and it's probably like a symptom of some of the shit in my childhood, but I've had like a lot of anger issues in my life. And it's just, that's probably one of those things that's really hard to deal with. And you know, I've done a lot of research on it and done a lot of thinking in my earlier years on like how to kind of like, maybe not suppress your anger, but just how to like manage it a little bit better, like drip it out instead of like letting all the craziness out at once kind of thing. Like, and I feel like sometimes I let like stress in my work life and stress, you know, with the kids and everything. Like sometimes I think it brings the worst out in me occasionally. Like bad drivers. Like if you see me on the road and someone like does something really stupid, like it just drives me crazy. And then I like let these bursts of anger out and then I'll be sitting there. I'm like, what did I just do? Like. I hate that about me. And so I can only imagine being you and looking over and seeing that, or like when I do something like that, where those bursts of anger, it's almost like you must just be sitting there like, can this man not get a grasp on this? Like,
I don't think I necessarily think like that. I think just when it happens and then I'm in the zone of how you're feeling, and then 2 minutes later it disappears and I'm still reeling from your anger outbursts, and you're like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, well, I'm still coming down from what just happened, right?
Yeah.
But you're able to flip that switch so quickly.
Yeah. Because it was unnecessary to begin with.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But actually, speaking on that and your anger issues, or how you feel, and when you know you grew up and all that stuff, that kind of makes me think of that Instagram post where I shared your text message.
Oh yeah.
And my dad brought it up because, you know, my dad will label himself, and he has no problem talking about it, as a very depressed person that has anxiety, that, you know, was an alcoholic and all of these things. And I even said to him the other day, like we were talking, and he keeps telling me to get a light, like one of those lights.
Yeah,
he says
vitamin
he swears
D
by
lights,
them.
or whatever it is, yeah.
And he goes, I'm a real depressed person, Sheridan. I'm doing okay, you know? So, like, we talk about these things, but he's very concerned about your text message. He mentions it almost every time we talk because he says he thinks that he can understand a little bit, like, what you're saying, but he feels thrown off by the fact that you said, I'll deal with it by myself like I always do. And so now he's wondering, I guess, and it made me think, because I'm just used to you saying stuff like that, but I'm like, do you feel alone in this world with your issues like that? Like you can't lean on me or your friends or your family? Like, and you just mentioned it again. You said that you feel, if I were to listen back, you said that you feel like it's just your problem and you have to deal with it.
Well, no, I don't know. I wouldn't be overly concerned about it. I just mean like each person in this world has their own own thoughts. Demons, like, just like there's certain things that just they permeate inside of your soul, and just, some of us open our doors to our partners and our friends and stuff like that, and then other people's, they suppress this shit all by themselves. I think you're probably really lucky to be with someone that does wear their heart on their sleeve. Like, I'm pretty honest about all of my feelings, like unapologetically myself. I think in the heat of the moment when I said those words in that text message, you were all mad at me and you wanted nothing to do with me. You actually left and stayed somewhere else for the night and everything. So I wrote to you and said, it's okay, I'll deal with it by myself like I always do. Because when shit hits the fan like that, who's got my back? Me. And it's gotten me this far in life. Like there's been borderline countless times in my life where I've laid in bed by myself crying and just wondering, like, where I'm going. But I think at the same time though, that like deep thinking that I do is also like what's gotten me to where I am today, because I think through everything. Like if I have a big presentation that I'm stressed out about, I think through every joke, every word, everything that I'm going to do, and then I crush it. And the same thing with as I'm navigating life, like I really think through everything. Like I've got a meeting in 59 minutes right now that I was up all night thinking about what I'm going to say and like how we're going to make this work and everything. And like, I don't know if I'm getting off track.
No,
now,
you're not. I was going to say there's a couple things. We could talk about that argument because we haven't, or did we talk about it on the podcast? We must have, because then we went away the week after. So, well, I do just want to say though, you saying that I left you and it was all that wasn't necessarily what it was. When you, because I actually looked back at the message and I realized that it looks like I was not really, or I said it was unfixable. That's what the word was. So I'm sure people are sitting there thinking like, well, what did she say was unfixable? Like, and then she just left. But it wasn't that. I was saying that at that moment, coming home and speaking for half an hour was not going to fix our deep-rooted issue that you like to sugarcoat and say it's not that big of a deal. But our deep-rooted issues that at the time, I believe, were about intercourse and being intimate with one another. Also, though, physical touch and like all, the things, like pile them together. But so when I said it was unfixable, I didn't mean our marriage or anything. I meant to come home and have a 30-minute chat wasn't going to fix it.
Yeah.
We need to do more work than that, was what I meant. But then I also wanted to say that I was talking to my friend Carla. She was down here over the holidays, and she just started seeing a therapist. And she said she was listening to our episodes because she listens to them all the time. Love you, Carla. And that I was talking about how when I come home, let's say I have a hard time when things are out of place or something like this. And on the flip side, you being my husband and you had tried to clean up for me, you would be like, well, don't you see what I did? Like I tried here, right? Do you know where I'm going with this? But Carla, she's like, the best part about talking to somebody that's not your person is that the person that's talking to you would say like, well, that must have been really hard for you, Sheridan, to walk in and to see things out of place and for your brain to just start going crazy and not being able to settle until something's back in place. Like that must be really hard for you, which PS it is. Like it's a constant struggle for me every day. So when you're talking about your things and your anger and like what keeps you up at night and how you have such a deep thought process and stuff like that, and I just sit here and I listen. This is me going back to therapy. My God, get us some therapists.
Oh my God.
But you could have somebody that just talks to you that's not biased, that would be like, well, hey, that must really be hard for you, Matt. Yeah. Like that you're dealing with all of this stuff. And I can do it. But of course, I also have like a million other things on my mind, as do you, when it comes to me, right? Because we're so busy with our lives. But anyway, don't know where I was going with that, but I guess.
If I didn't, you never told me that your father was so concerned about this.
Yeah.
He brings this up all the time.
Not all the time, but he mentioned kind of when we're asking, because he always asks how you're doing. Like, how's Matt? And I'm like, he's great. And he goes, well, I think back to that message and I just want to make sure he's okay.
Let's keep talking about this for a sec.
Okay, sure.
So like in our hiatus of the podcast, not our relationship.
Yeah. That's why we've not been here.
What's that dancer dude on the Owen show?
Twitch.
Yeah. It's awful. And, like some other people that like come to mind, like I didn't really know Twitch. I knew of him and I had seen him before, but he's one of those people that like, from the 5 times that I've seen him personally on TV and stuff, I mean, he just seems like the most positive, awesome, exudes incredibleness around every person he's with. And then like, at least if the story's true, this man took his own life. And then you look at someone like Robin Williams. I think none of us were privy to what happens with him behind closed doors, but I mean like Robin Williams, like Miss Doubtfire, the greatest guy ever, Flubber.
Patch Adams, was that him with the clown when he went into the hospitals? Right?
Yeah. The guy's the man.
Yeah.
And took his own life.
I know.
I think I think everybody in this whole world has stuff that weighs on them. And I think that with all this shit the last few years with COVID and the lockdowns and just the rising cost of food and fuel and climate change and just all this shit going on. It's, the whole world is just such a heavy place right now. And it just seems like as soon as we fix one problem, there's just like this cascading pile of shit. It's like you remove one shit layer and then there's more shit. And Ukraine, and then, we patched all that up, and then it's like, fuck, the climate thing. And then it's like, okay, well, maybe we'll figure that out. And then it's like, there just seems to always be something. So, like, I just think it's super heavy, and then you have all these big problems, and I think that, like, the thing that I want the most in this whole world is that when I'm in my house and I'm around my family and the people that I love the most, that there's not shit there too, because you guys are like the thing that makes me happy. You know what I mean? I want to come out, like when I get home from this meeting in an hour, I want to open the door up and give you a kiss and kiss my kids and watch a movie tonight and get some pizza or something. And like, I don't want to come home and be fighting and yelling and arguing and wondering and like, you know what I mean? It's just like a happy place. Like, and I don't want your dad to worry about me. I mean, honestly, it was just a message that I had sent to you when, it was like, we were like really in the heat of the moment. So that would be like all curtains open on that one. Like we were in the heat of the moment. That was a big argument we were in, and I sent you a text. But I think I'd be lying if I said that I didn't lay there some nights and just worry about life. You want to pass down great things to your kids and make sure that they're okay and don't have to worry about mom and dad and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
But you know what though, Matt? I don't think about that.
I know you don't.
But that's
the interesting thing about you.
But I think day to day, I just try to live, I guess, technically in the moment. Like I'm not worried about the future. And I don't know if that makes me, I don't know, but I've never been like that.
You're an anomaly.
No, I'm not sure I am, though.
I think you are.
I think if I don't know. I'd be curious to see, but I guess what I'm saying is all those things that you say to me, like even what you just like talked about just right now, I don't have the answers, and you've relied on yourself for your own answers for so long, and I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody telling you like it's okay to have these deep thoughts, but maybe let's do this, or you understand what I'm saying? Again, it's not me. I'm not the one, but
when I listen to this back, I'm probably gonna be annoyed that I didn't articulate myself very well.
Okay.
We'll
try again.
I don't want to come across insensitive either, but I promise you, I will never take my own life. It's not going to happen. I'm very happy with who I am as a person, and it's not just a front. Very, very happy. It's never going to happen. I guarantee it, because I'm a super happy person.
Right.
But baked inside of me I worry about things a lot.
Yeah.
But that same those same thoughts and demons and worries and things that I have are the things that push me to reach for the stars. Like I'm really good at what I do in this world because I worry about not being good at it.
Okay.
So like when what would be my biggest worries? I guess
money.
I think
money is your biggest worry.
It's not even so much a worry. I want to make sure that when my mom needs help in 10, 15 years and she needs help, like all of our parents are going to need help. I want to be able to look after all of our parents. I want to make sure that like something happens to your mom or your dad or my mom or whatever, and it will, and people get old, that like we can build a house for them next to us and get us all together so we're okay. Or like when Kaia and Theo and Sage grow up a little bit and they're out in the wild, like I want to make sure that like they don't ever have to worry about anything. And that's kind of like, I don't know if everyone thinks that way or if it's just me, but like I've kind of always felt like I was I've always felt like I'm the one that's kind of like carrying the torch for like my family. It's always been that way. Like my mom leaned on me for help when I was like 10 years old. Like I've always been the rock in the family. And that's just something that I probably will forever be. I think about it a lot. I want to make sure that like no matter what happens to any of my sisters or my brothers or my mom or your mom or anything, that like at the end of the day they can say, Matt's got us. Like we're going to be all right. And that's just something I think about all the time. And then like through that comes like work. It's like I worry about work all the time. I have massive presentation in the middle of next week for the girls opening the awesome motel up in the valley. And like, I just want to make sure that like when they see this, that they're like, we hired the right guy for this. Just those things.
Yes.
But you know what I don't worry about?
What?
Almost never. Maybe like of a whole year.
I
maybe
hope you're
like
going to say me and you.
me and you. And that's an awesome feeling to have.
I agree.
We have our money's all in one bank account.
You know what? No, but
we trust each other.
You're so right. Like listening to you talk and hearing all the worries that you have in the world, and how lucky we are that we don't worry about our relationship. I feel very grateful for that, because I know there are a lot of people that they're dealing with all this shit, and on top of that, they go home and it's not good. And that sucks.
That's what I'm saying.
And then there's lots of people that are tied down with their partner for financial reasons. They don't want to stay, but they have no choice.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yes, it sucks. And so I consider us like so fortunate to like genuinely love each other and want to be together and like enjoy each other. And I was actually just thinking about this the other day, and how when you and I first got together, like I loved you. I loved you because you are who you are. You wear your heart on your sleeve. We talk all day, every day. There was no games. Like we were having fun. We were being friends. I fell in love with you over the phone. When you came down, I loved you too, but it was still kind of like friendshipy, you know, like we were trying to make the push over to like romance, but it was sort of like stuck in the middle. But I love you more now than I ever did. And I don't know if that's normal, because I always see these like corny quotes on Instagram or whatever. Like, I love you more today than I did yesterday. And I'm like, okay, you obviously just copied that from Pinterest. Like, but
yeah, I know. Yeah.
you know what I mean? But I genuinely like you more than I did 9 years ago. I do. And I feel like for some people, their relationships kind of they sizzle out and they fall out of love and whatnot. And I don't feel that way with you. In fact, and like, I hope this isn't hurt your feelings, but like I like you more now than I did then. And I think that's a good thing.
Of course it is.
Right.
If you were like, I liked you more before, I'd fuck.
No, but you know when like you meet somebody, and we never had that because of the way our relationship came together, but like you meet somebody and you're just like fire together, like like the heat, the chemistry, the everything, and you're like, it can't go up from here. You know, so it kind of like sizzles out and you learn more about each other and whatnot. Yeah. But we didn't have that opportunity where we were like, I'll refer back to my books, where it's like, you know, you meet up and it's like boom, bang, all this hot stuff, like for it to then fizzle out and you to kind of like figure out a different way. In fact, we kind of did like the opposite, where we didn't really have that like.
Oh my!
No, but
you keep on like.
No, but
you keep on referencing the fact that the first couple times we didn't bang it out.
No, but you have to agree with me on this. We didn't have the immediate like.
I don't know. I thought it was.
It's just me.
I thought it was immediately awesome.
Yes, but
think of those first cottage trips.
But it felt immediately safe and immediately comfortable and immediately easy, right? And what I'm referring to are those like relationships that are like kind of like toxic in a way, and they're like, you know what I'm trying to say.
You read too many books.
Oh no,
it's bullshit.
But I just think that I actually kind of worked it in our favor. That in fact, I like get more attracted to you every year. I love seeing you as a dad. You're a great husband, and like the further along we get, the more I'm like, I like this guy more every year, which is cool. Yeah. Right.
I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
I feel really lucky to have you in my life.
Thanks, hon.
No, like, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Like what you were just saying there about 10 minutes ago, when you were like, I don't think about those things and everything. That's one of the things that I love about you. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, you know, I don't know.
About our relationship? Oh, when I go to sleep.
Just like all the shit in the world. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes I'm like, what would it be like to be with a woman that like also is into the same shit as me? We could sit there and like watch murder mysteries together and get into it and stuff. It's like, that would be interesting. But like,
that's what your mom's for.
I love that you just have this like carefree nature about you that complements my overcaring nature of shit perfectly. Mm-hmm. It's like, I feel like I bring you up just enough that you're like interesting to me in that regard, Mm-hmm. And then I also feel like you bring me down from the craziness and you're like, man, like, you know, turn the page, bud, like get over it kind of thing. And I feel like there's like a nice balance of stuff going on there.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. When you and I first got together though, I did not think I knew you were sensitive and I knew you were emotional, but no, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
But I didn't know you to be that much of an overthinker. I didn't know you to be as
Isn't
deep
that a
in your
Gemini
thoughts.
thing?
I'm a Gemini. You don't see me over here having deep
No, if I
thoughts.
was, maybe you're not a Gemini.
I have thoughts, but they're not, like worldly type of thoughts. I have different sort of thoughts. Or maybe I'm just so focused on mommyhood that's where I sit all the time, just thinking about the damn kids. Anyway, Matt has to go.
Do I? What time? No, I got 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can keep chatting.
Well, what could we chat
You're
about?
doing a great job just kind of like navigating over there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I feel like
Is
you
it my outfit? Should I wear it every time?
You do look really hot right now. Kind of sour, I have to leave.
Oh, okay. Well, I actually have
I just feel like you're like a great host over there today.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're like making sure everything ties in together.
Threesomes, would that bother you?
Would I want to have a threesome with you?
No.
Was this a note from your girls' weekend?
No. This was a note that we actually wrote down together in the van, and I think it's because we were talking about not threesomes would they bother you in our relationship, as in if you had been in them in the past. Like if we got together and lo and behold, I found out Matt likes having threesomes with 2 girls. Like, would that bother me and like be a problem?
You answer first. I think it would be ridiculous.
Well,
And I don't know. I don't.
ridiculous in what way?
Oh my God! If
Some people love that kind of stuff, and that's great. But I feel like you would have to find a partner that also reciprocates that.
no, I think I would. I enjoy our sex life.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. But I would also say that our sex life is like it's pretty safe. Like it's not like
Would you call it vanilla or like a little little caramel swirl?
No, but I mean, it's not like we're sitting here with a Karma Sutra trying to figure out like what to do tonight. Like, there's a little bit of a format to it, and every now and then, like we sprinkle in something a little different. If I found out that like 10 years ago you were like, oh, I was wild, threesomes every week,
Hard
I'd
on
be
the
like,
threesome.
I'd be over here like,
Yeah.
the fuck am I? Like,
Right. I get it. I understand what you're saying. You would feel like, again, and we've talked about this before actually when we talked about being bisexual, and I think this point kind of goes back to it, is you would be wondering like, is Sheridan feeling like she's missing something by just being with me, and is this not enough for her? Right? I imagine.
well, I mean, yeah.
I
like
might feel that way.
You see, of course.
I would think that if I found out you were having like orgies or like things like that, I'd be like,
think.
yeah.
Let me paint a picture for you.
Why?
No.
Don't.
Imagine
Okay.
if I just got on this microphone right now and was like, Sheridan.
Yes. Yes, Matthew.
Okay, yeah. There's something that I'm gonna come out and tell you on this episode.
Okay.
Nikki and I
Yeah.
used to have threesomes all the time.
Okay.
Like Felicia
Yeah.
was also in the bedroom with us all the time,
Right.
touching my peen at the same time. Nikki, you'd be like, I know you'd be like, what? For sure you would.
Oh yeah. I wonder if you told me this now. I actually just tried to pretend like you were literally breaking down this news to me right now and how I would feel. That's like, surprise, it's true.
If we weren't on the podcast, I probably would have got hella graphic there. But like, I'm like, okay, this is a little ridiculous.
And I wonder if you would have told me this right now, how I would
God.
feel about it. Well, we're married. We've been together for so long, and our sex life is great, although a little vanilla caramel swirl.
Yeah, I think it's just right.
Me too.
You can put some new outfits on every now and then, but overall,
I think I would find it
Moderately
intimidating.
sexist.
Again, like,
Sheridan.
yes,
For sure you would. I know
For
you
sure I would. And there are some people, and I find the mind so fascinating and how other people think about relationships. And I have some very good friends that are like, I don't believe that people should be monogamous. So-and-so, and I maybe think over time we'll bring in somebody into our relationship. And I'm just there like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand, because I think I'm so possessive of you, like when it comes to sex, that I would never be okay with sharing you with somebody else or like watching or anything. I'd be like, oh, excuse me, but that's me. Everybody's different. And that's what I find so fascinating is for some people in their head, they're like, yeah, that would be no problem as long as I know that they love me. as long as they come home to me.
You know who it would be too? It would be Talina. Talina's gonna be over there like, Ricky could have did whatever you want. I'm Talina.
Yeah, throws out names. We have to bleep these
Oh,
out.
we're not bleeping shit. Talina wears that like a badge of honor.
Your version, your brain is different than everybody else's.
Yes.
And that's what makes it cool.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now.
There are some people that genuinely are okay with it.
Yeah, you're going to get the OGs that don't care. I bet you
more than you think.
No, I bet you 9 out of 10 people are going to be like, I'd probably rather not find out that my husband or wife was like an absolute like sex machine.
Well, now I'm not even talking about that. Now I'm talking about like people and their sex lives in general.
I'm going to ask something.
Okay.
Kind of off topic.
Great.
Sort of, I think. You know how like is okay when someone has a crush on someone, like you know how like Kaia makes little Justin Bieber jokes to you all the time. Is it different if someone's like little like fairy tale crush thing is someone on Instagram? Is it different?
Your fairy tale crush is someone on Instagram. That's why you're laughing.
Oh, I'm just curious. Does it make it different when it's not a big star?
You know, I think like my mom always said that she never had a jealous bone in her body. And I actually think that she means that. And I was very jealous in my past relationships because I was being cheated on and people were in other relationships. So granted, I was in the right for feeling that type of way. But I have so much faith in our relationship and our marriage and this and that it actually doesn't bother me even in the slightest that you're always like, oh yeah, you know that hot girl that I follow, and like you know everything about her life, and you like you probably know her middle name for God's sake, and like I don't care. But you want to know something funny?
What?
I think that if I had a little hottie crush on Instagram, that you would care.
Would I?
I do. I think that if I followed some hot guy and I was like, you know that hot guy I'm talking about, you'd be like, what are you talking about?
No, you know another factor that would probably come into play.
Can't wait.
If it was like if he lived in like let's say India or something.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
I probably
Dubai,
wouldn't care.
I don't know
If I found out that he lived in like Truro, I'd be like, simmer down.
I think distance, and that's why you're asking me about famous people and if it makes a difference. I mean, some people consider people on Instagram quote unquote famous. So like your girl there, does she have like 1 million followers? You could call her famous. So what? If she made a rap album, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, now it's legit. Like
No, but there's this weird thing. It's like this weird thing because like if I was like, oh, my crush is Jennifer Aniston, you'd be like,
right,
good luck, because it could never happen.
It's unattainable. Right.
But this girl on Instagram, I could hypothetically DM her and make something happen if I really cared.
You think so?
I don't know,
yeah,
maybe.
Matt, let's tell Matt to go and do that and come back next week.
You're doing
I don't know, maybe uses the ab filter on his selfie to her. Hey,
hun, what's up with you doing P90X all of a sudden?
Something seems off.
You have an 8-pack now?
I do think that's interesting. It doesn't bother me. The only thing that
would.
What? If you actually messaged this girl?
No,
that's what I'm gonna say.
No, I just mean like if I had a crush on like a crush, what a ridiculous thing to say, but like if there was like someone that I followed on Instagram that I thought was like ultra hot, like that little thing. Yeah. Even though you're in a marriage, you can still have like a little like, gosh, that person's cute. Cool, follow their. Okay. Well, everyone's doing it, whether you want to admit it or not. All the people that we follow.
Oh my God, I just thought of something. Remember when we went to St. John? And I went to the Kaia event.
Yeah.
And there was a guy there, big black man, very attractive. And you got mad when you said, who is that guy that you're following on Instagram? And I said, And I said, we met him at Kaia. He was sitting right in front of us. Like we talked.
Mad?
Oh, buddy, you were jealous.
No, I
You were jealous because he's there like running with his abs shirtless. And you're like, well, what's that?
No, but like I look over your thing and you're sitting over there, your like head's going with his pecs.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on,
I double tapped. He actually engages on my stuff too. We're very kind to one another. Support that Instagram
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. The jealy's bleeding through.
100%. 100%. For sure, I'm jealous.
Interesting. So that made you jealous?
Whether you're sitting over there looking at some shirtless guy over here running up a beach.
Yet you do it all the time.
I know.
One time Matt followed this photographer that straight up only posted naked photos of girls. Do you still follow them?
Probably.
And I remember I'm like, Matt, like enough. And you're like, no, but like he's a great photographer.
Artful.
Yeah.
It's very artful.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, for sure. And I never thought about it again. So I think I maybe like if our relationship wasn't as strong as it is, perhaps I would be jealous, but I don't ever worry. So, but you have a little
Is
bit of
everyone
jealousy
watching and listening right now wondering who I follow on Instagram? Is everyone
We'll drop the handle.
Yeah, we'll drop the handle down there. Michelle Angela. Yes! I finally knew.
No, did you see the way he said it? It was like hard. He had hard eyes. It's like, oh. Was that how you would talk about my profile to someone?
I win. You finally spit your drink
Okay,
out.
we love you guys. See you next
Okay,
week. Happy to be
like
back.
and subscribe.
Michelle will be in the hot seat next week. I'm out of here.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, bye. Thanks. Love
Like
ya.
and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. It actually helps. Love you. Catch you next week.
It's the Two Gems Podcast.